Oh yeah, everybody. Q's code of ethics. We are anonymous. We seek no money or fame. We are autists. We never stop and never forget. We are unoffended. We reject political correctness. We are patriots. We make America great again. We are protection. We protect the unprotected. We are justice. We will defend our rights. We are freedom. We free the enslaved minds. We are truth. We expose lies and deception. We are awake. We are immune to propaganda. We are data. We have access to everything. We are speech. We support free speech and true speech. We are light. We illuminate evil and darkness. We are love. We love the sinner, not the sin. We are united. We cannot be divided by them. We are honor. We stand for our flag and soldiers. We know how it ends. God wins because we are winning. We have won. We are Q. Where we go one, we go all.
Are you coming to the tree where dead man called out for his love to flee? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where I told you to run so we'd both be free? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where a necklace of hope side by side with me? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where I told you to run so we'd both be free? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where they strung up a man, they say we were free? Strange things that happened here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? And call out for his love to free. Strange things that happened here, no stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the hanging tree.
military activities. Conditions on the ground, not arbitrary timetables, will guide our strategy from now on. America's enemies must never know our plans or believe they can wait us out. I will not say when we are going to attack, but attack we will.
They are contained to the northwest. They're in a canal system now. That looks like a weapon of some sort. It's definitely hot. 1700 meters. We'll be coming inbound about 40. When you clear break all engage. Oh, you got it.
Get him, Pepe! Get him, Pepe!
Found a way to sneak into Nexus. But if you want to go in guns blazing, I don't blame you.
J. Rosemary, White Hat Kyle in the house. We about to pop on, y'all. We about to pop on and pop it on.
Was everyone ready?
We ready,
Are
we
you
ready.
ready?
JFK on the MAGA hat. I'm ready for that all day. All day.
Quick little intro, little video that I compiled with Trump. You know what I mean? Doing his thug thing. What's up, y'all?
Yeah. I'm gonna bring that down then, or I guess I'll switch that one off for us. He's still on there. What's up? What's up? J. Rosemary, White Hat Kyle is in the house. How we doing? We still going. We've been riding that wave. We got the Schumann residents going crazy. We got everything going on, and Jay's been wanting to do a show on our promise to counter for a few days. So we kind of figured out the timing was perfect here today. I guess Eastern time. They're probably on August 6th now, but we'll still call it August 5th in some circles. So that's 8/5 or 58. You want to add about that too, the Obama's birthday, and then the mirror about that thing too.
Yes, sir. It's
Anything else?
16 minutes till, so 17 minutes with that few minutes in there. So we started 20 minutes before. 20 spelled out as 107. We just found a 107. We were messing around earlier. Cockrock JR comes to 107. Why Cockrock? We were messing around, and I guess in Nevada there's a stone figure thing that I called it the middle finger. And then, of course, everyone corrected me. There was, it's a cockrock. And I was like, let me
I
go
think
confirm
that's
that.
New Mexico. Actually, that's New Mexico down where Mel is. I'm from
Correct.
Nevada. Jay's SoCal. So we're all kind of right in the area. We are going to have some meetups together in the near future, but we're going to cover tonight a lot of our promise to counter, kind of the letters at the funeral, also the Q drops that have the counters. We're going to make it a little short. I mean, when we say that with our Q school friends, it could be an hour and 17 still. We'll see what happens. We got some videos. We're going to break down some of that stuff and maybe do a little gematria too. We didn't really talk about that ahead of time, Jay, but I think we should. We just jumped right into it with the 17 spelled out 109. I kind of almost want to show the people that. I think there's still a lot of people new to gematria. They're probably excited about it.
So a few days ago, a couple days ago, maybe, it was 8/4, which is what we know of as Obama's birthday, right? So August 4th. Then we had, I believe it was also JD Vance's birthday as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's interesting. And so with that said, Trump said something about new socks. Remember the four-leaf clover socks?
Yeah.
That he wore? Well, he said we're going to get him new socks. So I was like, new socks. Well, what's there's always something there. So new socks comes to 109.
Okay, so look at that. Four leaf is 84. We had August 4th, right? And then also 48, our beloved Mega 48 mirrored there is 84. Four leaf, let's do Clover 159. My birthday's fifth
Wow.
day, ninth month. And JD Vance was 59. And then, so what was it? New socks. New socks is 109. So there you go, right there. So we got 17. 109. And what did Trump say up on the roof there? Taking a walk. I'm missing a
Um,
letter. What was it?
oh shit, let me go find
Yeah.
it.
No. This is maybe no. Yeah, it's because it was 17 letters. So I'm missing it. It was something with 17 letters. 4 words, 17 letters. I'm taking. No, I'm just taking a walk. Maybe that's it. Just taking a walk. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So showing some of those fun things. Military is 107. Military is 107. There's 109 military Q drops in the Q posts. That's on QAG. Some of the numbers are slightly different from. Oh, look, it's 109 in reverse. Wow. Confirmation. The gematria unlocks some certain things in the Q drops. So, anyways, pretty fun. Anything else to add on what we're going to cover, Big J? And then we'll jump right into some of the stuff we got here.
For sure. So essentially, it's like this. Um, I had the bright idea. I don't know. I was ruminating for a while when we had taken the oath a little bit ago. We did it on video. Many of us, we'd like to do it again for those that haven't. And when we did that, something was ruminating, right? So later it evolved to, or it developed into essentially like this. Um, Trump, Q, the military, 107, have basically countered already, right? They set us up, the stage is set, the whole 9 yards. So with that said, when are we going to do our thing?
We're doing it
We
right
took
now.
the oath. We took the oath, and it's like, so what's our way to counter? How can you, me, Kyle, the next person, the next man, or you yourself activate the next man?
Yeah.
So this is what we're gonna chat about. So I have a few propositions. Let me know what you guys think. I have a few things. I can't be all talk and no walk, so I have a few plans as well. Let me know what y'all think, and let's get it rolling.
Oh, yeah. I
I'm
love
proud.
it. I
I'm
love
proud to
it.
counter. So here we
I
go.
love it for sure, because especially a long time back, people were sending videos like back in 2020 about taking the oath, and I had just gotten on social media. I wasn't really a fan of being in the spotlight so much, but God's called us forward here, so here we are. And then I've done the oath on like Telegram or chats, but I haven't done the oath on camera, so I definitely want to do that. The official commander oath, by the way. So, and then that's more the gematria stuff. Actually, I even have. No, I'm not going to play that tonight, but I got an audio recording. I was calling myself commander even beforehand, but then the first time I didn't even tell a spiritual friend, and they happened to call me that in a random voice message. And I said, "Did you mean to call me that?" And they sent it back and said, "Yeah, I meant to call you commander." It was on Less Than This, Jay. It was the 17th audio message they had sent me. It was even titled, and even they would the phone would automatically label it that. So it was Kyle, and then like whatever name she had me under, and then it was the 17th message, bro. And you know how they have the data on the audio files when it's like that. The data audio file was 144K. It was 144,000. The first time somebody called me commander, and then or without me like
Nice.
mentioning it first, and then now let me go into gematria. We weren't planning on going this, but just to bring it up. And what's really cool about the gematria, when you start learning your name and everything. So my full name is Kyle Don Hansen. So I learned, okay, 157. It's also 13 letters. 1 plus 5 plus 7 is 13. So 13 is really important for me in some various ways I'm not going to get into right now, but also, mirroring the deep state, the Illuminati to defeat them. All the numbers too I have are with the Q drops. Even just Kyle by itself is 53. So that's JFK mirrored, 35, reduction 17, 5 on the reverse, then 19, Trump 19th president. But then I didn't like my middle name so much years back when I was younger, and then now I've started to come to accept it or embrace it. I guess I should say Don, meaning like ruler, leader, and obviously Donald Trump's in there. And then because that 33, and then the last name Hansen is 71 mirrored, or is 17 mirrored. So 13 is like kind of that fulcrum number. Anyways, I was calling myself Commander Hansen, but I didn't know the gematria of it. So I'm like, oh, I wonder what that comes out to. So I was like, Commander Hansen, and it was like 157. I almost cried, like legit, dude. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like you could feel your role was like being fulfilled. So I just showed my full 3 names was 157, but just Commander by itself, the word 86, but then reverse is 157. My three full names is 157, and Commander's in there, and so all these different connections with the Q jobs, like Commander of the Q is 157, or if I take the away, Commander of Q 124. If I take my middle name away, Kyle Hansen is 124. Q movement 124, or the Q movement 157. So it's got like my names encoded on there, all the different ways. And that's really what you start to learn about yourself with the gematria. Is fun, right, Jay? That's kind of how negative 48 taught everyone to, learn your name first, go through that. So then even like 157, if you spell that out and then do the gematria. Let me, I guess, show that for a better visual here. And then, so it's 157, but then if you spell it out, 157 is 141. Mr. President, 141. So I've had all these different connections, and then it goes even more. So if it goes 157 is 165. It's in your face, and then 157. If you put the 100 in there, 100. If I can know how to spell. 239. So 2 plus 3 is 5, and then 9. So my birthday is 5th day, 9th month. The only day ever Trump tweeted the word treason, all capital letters. And then a screenshot of that got shared in the Q post. Then a year later, on September 5th, again, he tweeted, I'm draining the swamp, but the swamp is fighting back. And then that tweet also got shared in a Q post. So you get confirmations when you devote your life to this movement, and you get different confirmations of kind of like who you are. Obviously, we're infinite beings and limitless, but we also learn aspects about ourselves. And I think learning the gematria has certainly helped that. For me, it's always been confirmations too. And I think that's how gematria should be, not necessarily like getting to an answer, because sometimes you can, if you start with an answer and work through it with gematria, you can kind of get there anyway. But if you have something in your like beliefs, like I said, the commander thing, and then you put it into gematria and you get that confirmation, you really feel it, So I've always just, instead of using the gematrix where it spits out all the different numbers, and you can use some of those, but a lot of them I found kind of randomly. Even just like one more, like one of my favorite shows is Archer. I talk about it a lot with Jay, and the main guy in there is Sterling Archer. And I've even always said I called him my spirit animal before. There's so much disclosure in there. This the spy agency. He's an alcoholic. He's got problems, but he's the world's greatest spy. I'm like, I wonder what his name is. Full name Sterling Archer. I'm like, I wonder what Sterling Archer is. And then it's like AR 1, 2, 3, and then like Archer. Sterling Archer's 157. It's like I was like jumping out of my chair when you find that shit. It's like, it's so fun, because like when you find these matches, you're like, of course, I was calling my spirit animal. Then winds up Sterling Archer of all the things comes out to exactly 157. And I've been watching that show forever, and clearly a white hat show too. I mean, it started on the 17th, ended on the 17th. There's legit disclosure in there. I mean, they even talk about Q clearance. He gets Q clearance in there. It talks about in the show, lots of disclosure stuff too. So anyways, we went a little autist diverted on some of that stuff. We're going to get to our promise to counter, but I got Jay got me all excited here. Now we're rocking and rolling. So we ready to jump in that there, or you want to add anything else on some of the things we brought up there?
Yeah, no doubt. We're flowing, so it doesn't matter. This is basic introduction. I like to feature a few more things, get more people involved. So tonight's broadcast, grab a few people, invite them next time. I'll propose a few things, see what you guys think. Let me know how we can work something out. Guerrilla, guerrilla marketing style. What's our promise to counter? How can we do something? We're not military. We don't have military money. We're not Trump. We don't have Trump money. You know what I mean? But we have determination. We have will. We have patriotism. What's the loyalty? You know what I mean?
We got the love, we got the passion, dream, and we got the friends behind us. We need to just all work together, share the resources, and work together and finish the plan here. That's all part of it. Let me show the Rumble channel too. If you are all jumping on out here, the main one we want to help us follow is our Hammer Time rapid fire Q news. So if anybody doesn't know, Rumble's just like YouTube. It's a doesn't censor, doesn't ban people. So if you search Hammer Time, it's this long name here, Hammer Time rapid fire Q news. But if you search, you should pop up, you'll see it, and then it's pretty easy to find because we got that Q military patch there. And now we're doing shows Monday through Friday. We never had this for a while. We used to do all of our recordings way back in the day on Telegram, and we kind of learned the skill sets, but really people, if you weren't on Telegram, you weren't going to see our stuff now. And then we were doing Q schools every Saturday night, but it'd be sometimes 5-hour long shows. I did attempt to do a 17-hour Q school. We actually did successfully do it, but while we were live on X had a shutdown. X got literally shut down and stopped our 17-hour Q school on Flag Day, on Army's birthday, on Trump's birthday, June 14th, 2025. Started the 17-hour Q school on Eastern time, 00, 17 minutes past the hour, 17 seconds, and then 12 hours in, X got brought down, but we got back on there and we made it 12 hours. But what's cool with the daily shows, we're going to be hitting those a lot more quicker, and they won't be as long. We're going to try to keep them at 2 hours max, try to be as quick as we can and cover all the information. And we do this all the time in Q School. We literally unlock the map somehow, or we have like timeline activations. We covered at the end of today's episode, I showed the plot to what is it? The Plot Against the King or the President. Dang it. What is that title of that one? The bit shoot. We just played it. We played it in our Telegram group, but then I played the trailer at the end of the episode today. And then later on, Jay, it came out that they were talking about the plot against, that's what it was, the Plot Against the President. The Plot Against the President was shown by Devin Nunes. And who else was talking on a show? And he talked for 17 minutes and basically confirmation, like literally shouting out that they were watching Q School. And we brought up the Plot Against the President, and it came out really after our show. And we just streamed it earlier this week. And that happens all the time. We've had Q proofs on our show in the middle of our show back in the day on March 17th, 2022. By the way, deltas, okay, Q drops on different dates. So on March 16th, there's 0 deltas. There's no Q drop on any year on March 16th. March 17th, there's exactly 17 Q drops. And we were doing a show on that 17th. In the middle of it, the military gave us a tweet, and it was a Q comm. I can't remember what it is exactly. We got to find that episode. And they basically gave us a Q school proof in the middle of our show. And then we were on a live show when Q came back, 563 days after their absence, 1,700 days after the very first Q post. When Roe versus Wade was overturned, Q came back, and that was quite a riot. And we also had some Q proofs that we found there that nobody else has ever seen. 500 characters for Q drop 563, 500 characters exactly for a True Social post at that time. And then now so anyways, we got to do a whole show on all that stuff. It's gonna be good. So let's get into it. Let's get in without further ado. I'll let Jay back me up on anything if you want to, and then I'm gonna show these numbers here.
My phone's taking a while to load up. That one. Thank you.
Yeah.
So essentially, when did it start? When did we get this term, or what people have what have people associated with our promise to counter? They've associated with the George Bush funeral, D5, right? And so what do we have here, right? So with this one, not up Q, particular Anon on X, they've been doing it for a while. So shout out, as you can see, 23. So that's a while.
He does amazing work. He has everything cataloged so well, guys. He's always actually, you can always communicate with him pretty well on X, and he's even on Instagram as well. He's so well organized. He has everything you could possibly ask for. It's really pretty powerful if you get a chance to connect with him. Yeah, not up Q, mainly on X there, but he's also on Instagram and some other places. But find him on X, and he's got everything cataloged. So if you need stuff, he's a great guy to find. Okay, so right here, so Q drop 2608. He actually, I think he typed this out because that's not the syntax that Q uses, but it's fine. And Anon had asked, we'll show the actual Q drop 2608. He's kind of doing the summary here. Anon asked what were in the envelopes. Q responded, our promise to counter. And then this little graphic he wrote, George H.W. Bush confessed everything in his military human rights tribunal filmed on analog in exchange for a Rommel death, which severely implicated many deep state perpetrators. And then I swear I had this full screen somehow before. What did I do on this one?
And real quick, we'll have to touch on Rommel death. So for many,
why don't you go into it right now? Go ahead with it right now, because then I'll bring up the definition of it. Yeah.
For those that don't know, I don't know if you know this, but Intel has it that there's actually tribunals going on. Whether you choose to accept it, acknowledge it, process it, whatever it is, that's on there. That's on teach their own, right? Let's say it is going on. Let's say it has been since 2016, give or take 2018 for sure, right?
Right.
Where's Adam when you need him? When he says it was over before it started, right? So we have that as well. Also, I talked to Kyle earlier, and we were chatting, and I brought up residuals, right? So he's like, "Oh, what do you mean by that?" And I was like, "Okay, so when you're running, right, and we leave traces behind, right, through light spectrum, when a shooting star, anything. Look at this. Look at the movement. Did you see the residual there? Little lights, right? So in the movie that's already been filmed, the credit, everything's been set up, mastered, everything. We're merely getting the residuals, right? Effects of the after effect of the complete production mastered piece set for distribution like the regular theaters, right? They're not going to give us a rough draft. They're not going to give us something bumpy. They're not going to give us something that can be uh,
The final
what is it
product,
called?
they're getting it nice and refined and smooth, baby.
Not something that you could interrupt with your bullshit fucking protest. What is
Yeah,
that? What is that telling us?
it can't
Then
be
maybe it's all
compromised.
scripted.
Yeah.
It's all scripted for the most part. We're still weeding out a bunch of people, right?
Hmm.
But so our promise to counter the way I'm presenting it and the way I received it was like this. It was a download and it was activation, and I think coincidentally it was a Delta coming up as well. So I was like, even more reason, right? So what's the word counter? You know what I mean? So with that, real quick, the Rommel death stuff. So it's presented that the individual, some Nazi guy, I forget Emmanuel or something Rommel. Um, in layman's terms, the way it's broken down, it's like this: they choose an alternative death, right? Suicide, whatever it is, bullet to the head, right? But for to preserve their legacy and to preserve their lineage and their everything, their whatever legacy, right? Or family integrity, so their family doesn't know that they're a deadbeat piece of shit, fucking human trafficker, violator, baby eater, whatever it is. It's night shift, so just bear with us, right? This is
Hmm.
stuff that is actually has happened. So what's a 2.0? What are masks? How long has this been playing, right? So Erwin Rommel, renowned field marshal, was forced to commit suicide, right? Can you think of anyone else that was forced to get offed, right? No name. Let's not mention his name, but if you know his name, he was the most worst of the worst of the worst, right? So that's a Rommel death where they told us certain things, but they put a bullet to his head or HCQ and they melted somewhere, rotted somewhere in a jail cell, right? Until a fucking professional cleanup crew came. Probably not even humans, just android fucking little things come and clean up your carcass and stuff, right? So
You said
that's
HCQ. I
Trump.
think you meant HCl, like hydrochloric acid. Yeah.
HCQ hydrochloroquine.
Oh, hydrochloroquine even? Okay. I was thinking, interesting.
The way Michael negative 48 told us is hydrochloric and HCQ essentially because they have so much iron, it beats them up even more. So
Iron
when they
from
don't have the adrenochrome,
blood.
so it was a double-ended knife. It helped us by curing
Hmm.
us that
Yeah.
aren't cannibalistic, don't have that much iron in our blood. We probably had to go through a few little detoxes because
Yep.
why? I think we've ate, you know, cannibalistic style stuff in our food within the 90s.
Unknowingly, but absolutely, most certainly, everybody has. Even the human embryonic kidney cells, the HEK cells. You look those up to HEK 293 cells. They can use that as natural flavor in our products. So anything like Gatorade, if you ever drank Gatorade, Doritos, it's all flavored with this crap. I mean, it's a gnarly topic, but and then the burgers and McDonald's have
So
been tested
how
all over
does
the place.
our promise to counter fit in with Maha? Oh shit. So it does, huh? There it is. So we're here. But so yeah, our promise to counter is like this. This is my proposition. Trump, the military, Q, and not in that order, right? And the boys, which we call the military. The boys 94, Guardians 94, right?
White Hat
So
94,
stuff like that.
John
So
John 94.
they've done their deals. They're doing operations. They're down there risking their lives, maybe getting brought back by med beds, maybe not. Right. So salute to them. We love you. Thank you for everything that you've done throughout time and space, I guess. Right. We don't
Salute
know
you.
what is time travel.
Salute you.
Right. So with that said, how can we, the normal civilian, Mills? So with that, I will bring you up to Q drop. Oh shit, where's the
So
paper?
let me show you something. I got a little something special for you. Just 1 second, Jay. So I got Jay's back saying some people suicide or whatever. Here's one. He said John McCain Here's the confirmations you get when you're paying attention, you're in the movement, you're asking the questions. We get confirmations directly from our team to know that we're on the right track.
Congress, though, it's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. And look at this circus of a hearing. Congress, though, it's like 24 hours since John McCain was put to death.
I just played this in the 2023 episode with 24 hours since John McCain was put to death. We got even better though. How about his daughter saying something similar? Here's John McCain's daughter.
I've been getting into it on Twitter this morning with people over this, is that people are saying this is just free speech, you're being a snowflake, you're so sensitive. First of all, you're talking about sitting senators, and you're talking about Congress people, Maxine Waters, Mitt Romney, Adam Schiff, Bernie Sanders, President Obama, the Clintons, my father, you can't kill him again, but whatever, Rachel Maddow, Black Lives Matter. These are real people. And so I always thought that if you, in the same way that if you make a threat against someone in office, I don't understand how this video is any different. Sarah Sanders, Don Jr., and the governor of Florida, by the way.
You can't kill him again. You can't kill him again after he was put to death. I mean, they put it right in our face for us. 31-second video. White Hat WH is 31. OP, original poster. White Hat post 51. Doing a lot of references to Q post people might not be familiar with, but they'll start learning, like Jay was saying, start seeding it in their consciousness. So we are going to show.
Let's take it to 4511.
Okay.
June 24th, 2020 post. You'll love the timestamps. Oh.
Here, I'll just bring it up on. I'm going to go on Q alerts. I'll just bring this up on Q alerts and show it, so you don't got to do nothing. I'll just let me get up to 4511.
86 posts containing counter. And that's just counter. I was playing with things. One post containing our promise to counter. Okay. Many counter intelligence, encounter, right? So 86 posts. If you go to 4511.
Which, by the way, Gematria too. Gematria Commander 86, Hunter 86. Hunter Biden's making the news right now lately. And Game Over 86, just to name a few. Oh, no, keep going. Go ahead.
4511, whenever you're ready.
Okay, 4511. Yeah, let me get there.
And this one's a thickie, and we're not going in order as the way they're laid out because they're numerical from high to low, or it depends on your option on the website, low to high. So with 4511, this has never been attempted. Use of general public to counter the narrative propaganda pushed by controlled media. We are here now. Okay. We've received the comms from Trump, him dissing the people, him, El Donaldo Trumpo, doing a little makeshift little meme that he's spraying, hosing down the media from the rooftop. So we'll delve into the rooftop. That's why I included it in that video. I don't know what it means. Do you? What does rooftop mean? Roof comes to 54. That's all I know. We'll hold up on that. So it says analysis in brackets. It says start to now indicates situational awareness, decoupling of MSDNC, control of information, channels 1 through 99. That's your basic television, right? Basic antenna television, or with
what decoupling means is they brainwash people with the things they use is like saying the same thing over and over again. They'll use the same keywords. So they also have your quote unquote trusted people saying the same thing. Some doctor comes on, they've done studies on humans. If somebody's just wearing a white coat, that like a scientist coat, people are more apt to trust them. They'll keep saying the same words over and over and over again, that people start to believe this. And then I call it the blue checkmark clowns. You notice that they say MSDNC. Yeah.
What if they don't believe us? Don't you have a video that we played a few minutes ago?
Yeah, we always got the receipts there for sure. So what this is doing there is analysis, talking about analyzing the Q drops, how the movement started. We became digital soldiers. We became researchers. We started to question everything. We were no longer believing what we were told. Okay, so like from start to now, how much growth have we had? So this drops 2020. June 24th, which is a special date, by the way, June 24th, 2018, the mysterious R post happens, the signature of the R post with JFK Jr. and Trump together. Then June 24th, 2020 is when this drop, not only this drop, but also Q drop 4509, which is you've been selected to help serve your country. And that 4 + 5 + 9 is 18. 18 is R. And then Q came back June 24th, 2022, Roe versus Wade overturned after 563 days. So there's a lot of connections with that. But now, how far have we come from the beginning when Q first started dropping to now in June of 2020? The movement was getting just massive, even though we had all the censorship. People would lose different accounts. We would make new accounts. We were everywhere on every platform. And then it only got bigger after that when Telegram started, after we all got kicked off of Twitter, January 8th, 2021. And then it just kept growing and growing. So, but like, what have we done so far? Indicates situational awareness, meaning anons understand the role we've been asked to play in this military and civilian alliance, which is coming up. I don't mean to stomp on Jay's reading the drop; he's doing awesome. But I just want to add that that's what that means. Some people don't understand that. Decoupling means people are no longer brainwashed. They're not thinking, oh my gosh, whatever the mainstream media tells me. Yes, we all know people who still are like that, but that grip is breaking and slipping further every single day. And the 100th monkey effect is very real too. 100th monkey effect means you're basically, when the more people that wake up, the easier it is for other people to wake up, and then also the faster they get on board. We're basically all quantumly connected, so we're pulling people up rapidly into this awakening. If you just look back 5 years ago, the topics are things that you know personally or anybody else, or things were talked about. I always use like Chrissy Teigen as a great reference. And in 2017, she could tweet the word adrenochrome. By 2020, she couldn't even be on Twitter anymore because there were so many people awake, and they would start, giving her, attacking her, just saying, what are you doing with the kids? Da, 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 plus, plus, plus. Even all these podcast things are failing. And Michelle Obama's podcast, it's rapidly, it's even more and more now. That comes back around to the D5 thing too, right, Jay? The D5 avalanche. That Q first posted that D5. What does that mean? You look it up. D5 is the highest classification of an avalanche. That's just one meaning. And it was talking about the anons. Like, we're this snowball that started rolling, and it's gotten more and more speed. And as it's gone the hill, it's getting faster and faster. And now we're at this full-blown avalanche of truth that just cannot be stopped. We're all over the place. We're on platforms everywhere. It's happening so rapidly. Everything's sped up too, like on Instagram or your TikToks, and all the little reels and stuff are so fast, and we're showing deltas. Everyone's following the deltas now, and it's coming full circle of everything Q has talked about is playing out before us today, every single day. And that's what we're doing on our daily Monday through Friday show is utilizing the news clips and how they tie in, and then the Q drops, and it maps everything out for us. It's all playing out right in front of our faces for us, really.
Yes, it is. Indeed.
So
Very good.
I'll bring the drop up, let you finish it, but go ahead. Don't let me distract you if you're on your thoughts.
Analysis to start now indicates situational awareness. Decoupling, I could think of the trains when they unlink,
Double meanings always do exist. Nice one.
Of MSDMC to control information channels 1 through 99, your basic TV, digital little antenna stuff.
Bullshit.
Of general public expanding at massive pace, right?
Massive.
Attacks can be defined as loss of general information control, which they've done. We don't believe them anymore. We're on X, we're on Telegram, we're doing the alternative. 1 out of 5 family members are black sheep, let's go with, right? Or are thinking, or are noticing.
And that goes with that goes with like health information, especially too, right? Like during the pandemic, everybody was all fearful, but now people know, wow, we can really get really good at health information. There's treatments for things like the big C word, all these other treatments that are natural ways to remedy things instead of injecting ourselves with all these neurotoxins, and how dangerous that is, and how much they controlled the narrative with all that stuff. Big pharma has controlled our media, our schools, Rockefeller Foundation, this allopathic medicine, which is not even medicine, it's the sickness and death industry, plus. But go ahead and finish this one. I won't step on you.
Indeed, sir. The need to expend ammunition, right? Muster network to defend and coordinate attacks to counter military civilian alliance. So
boom,
they're whacked out, they're crazy, they're losing their control, right? So they need to expend ammunition. What does that mean? Protesters, false flags, maybe.
Also,
network to defend and coordinate attacks to counter military civilian alliance, which is you and I that are listening, watching, sharing, or learning, right? Or coming onto this movement. It could be anything. It could be food, right? It didn't have to be truth. What happened to blah, 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 or this person did this to Obama, to a child, Hillary, or whatever. It could have just been Kennedy that kind of got them involved with this movement, right?
Yeah, that's all part of the awakening is all the different topics. Again, we've been poisoned in every kind of way, what we consume, our food, water, air, but even our education, everything like that. So people are aware of that. People are taking their kids out of the public education. They're homeschooling them. Parents are coming together to pool their resources to be able to actually homeschool their children, even if they couldn't do it by themselves. Other parents can all work together, because when we're united, we can have any solution. That would include the food. Like if we all just make our own gardens, instead of having grass in our yards, we had gardens, and we were in a little community, we'd have more than enough food to overnight of anything we would ever need. So it doesn't matter what land Bill Gates is buying, but Bill Gates has been gone a long time too. You'll find out 174, but that goes along with it is as we rise up. And what was the rest of that little drop there? Oh, muster network to defend and counterattack. That's our shills. All the shills and your agent provocateurs, even in the Q movement, right? Some of these channels that got really big, they were pumping up Trump and Q, and they were making money off this, and they got a following, and all of a sudden they flipped the script. When they no longer had control of the narrative, they're going to pull their assets out. That's why it's a coordinated wave of attacks. I never understood that when Q was always saying that back in the day. What is this coordinated wave of attack? Ironically, what helped me discover it was I long time back decided I was never going to block anyone, like on Twitter. All right, this person's definitely a shill, but I was like, well, I don't need to block them. I know who they are. Let me just watch them and keep following them. And I was amazed that later on down the road, they would be saying some narrative again, and it was clearly like, but then another account that I didn't know was saying the identical thing. I was like, whoa. And it like actually helped me catch all these other people. And then it made sense in my mind. The coordinated wave of attack is they're going to use as much, only they're going to keep expending more ammunition, like we're saying, more ammunition until they capture the narrative again. So if something's about to happen, something's about to drop, they're going to do a false flag, or people are talking about this topic that they don't want people to talk about. They're going to use their assets, which are embedded in there, right? Those infiltrators, there's these fake MAGAs, these fagas, right? They're going to expose them. They're going to bring them out to help capture the narrative, but they're only going to do as much as they can so they can keep their other people embedded in there for later on. So I was like, oh, that's what the coordinated wave of attack meant, is they're going to have this wave of attack until they capture the narrative. So they'll keep expending ammunition and assets until they capture the narrative. Then once they have the narrative back, their other hidden assets can remain. I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense now. So that's what that was saying there too, is the military civilian alliance. Let me bring it up that post back real quick. And this is what it's about. This, how are they countering it? First off, it's never been done in the history of the world. The military working with the civilians, which is us. That's the Q operation. It was, dropped on an anonymous board of just information, asking questions, basically encouraging the civilians, us anons, digital soldiers, everyday people, to do research, to become critical thinkers, to network and share information amongst each other. Again, breaking this network of coordination, which the mainstream media had, which was controlling everyone's thoughts. And we all worked together. But now they were doing the same thing. Think Mirror. They were also mustering their network of embedded shills and blue checkmark clowns and bots to try to counter this military civilian alliance that we had too. So everything they've done, we do back to them, and then vice versa, right? Moves and counter moves, as you'd say.
That's where that comes in. So how many other posts involve counter moves and counter moves? So very good. Thank you. So, so yes, so that's the one. Maybe even now you could play that video where,
look, I didn't realize, I didn't mean to cut into you, is the 4510 comes up in here, even though I don't see the word counter in this one, which is always interesting to me. Like, how did this one get in there then too? And then 4509. Oh, but on this one, this is my click the tab of counter on Q alerts. This is the counter tab. One of the 86 drops is 4510. In addition, 4509 was the one I referenced, that real quick here, since I said it, the June 24th. If you come over here, June 24th, 2020, 4509, here's the drop. 4 plus 5 plus 9 is 18. So in that reference to R, 18th letter of the alphabet is R, you have been selected to help serve your country. So there is a counter in this one. I forgot about that. Ask counter questions to initiate thought versus repeating the echo, basically, of MSDNC propaganda. That's the same concept of decoupling the MSDNC's control. They do such a good job with their narrative and basically programming people's thoughts that if you say, oh, Biden's just a XYZ, or Biden's not even a real person, he did this, they're going to automatically have an answer for you that's been given to them, they being your friends and family who are under the mind control. If you repeat something, even if you try to say as clear as day, even if you show evidence, they're going to fight you. But if you ask a question, Like, wait a minute. So if Joe Biden, if you don't believe what you don't have to say that part. So wait a minute. If Joe Biden such and such, why did Joe Biden have a different military inauguration than all the other presidents before? The military does everything by the book, and they follow a very strict policy. And in particular, they do a 21 gun salute with the cannons for the president, but they did something different for Joe Biden. Why did they do that? Just ask your friends and family that, and don't give them the answer. If they don't have the answer, they're gonna like, and just like, that's interesting, huh? Because the brain is a feedback mechanism loop. So like when you ask the brain a question, it has to look for it starts searching for the answer. So if you don't give them that answer, it's gonna be like a rock in their shoe. It's gonna keep like eating at them. It's gonna keep like itching. Like, wait a minute, what's up with that? And hopefully they'll go research. Now maybe they come across something stupid on Snopes that tries to quote unquote debunk it, but they're starting the process of researching and asking questions. And also they're gonna feel you don't want them to feel insecure, but it does break that because they have this false confidence of like they know truth when it be by these liars. And you just ask simple questions that the mainstream narrative can't answer. Like a good one I always like to use is like with the COVID thing. So wait, COVID happened. Like, where did the flu go? Like, how did the flu just disappear in 2020? Ask that, and maybe if they don't have it, they might not have an answer right there. Or maybe they'll be like, oh, where everybody was wearing masks and social distancing. Well, why didn't COVID go away then? They transferred the same exact way. They're not going to have an answer. And this really gets them like their wheels spinning and things start falling. Unfortunately, you have that like tower moment, right? Your ego is going to take a hit because you're also that cognitive dissonance because everything you believed, it's starting to be like, wait a minute, maybe I don't know what the hell is going on. And what's this crazy person is making more and more sense. I'm freaking out. You know what I mean? And also a key part of that is to be a good steward of information though. I always tell people, don't get into date fagging. Don't let your ego get in the way. Like, everything. Cause what happens is, or you say the craziest stuff, or you say a date, or this is going to happen. Oh, Biden's going to get arrested on inauguration day. Then he doesn't. Then you look stupid. And then those people that maybe would have been coming to you for information when they question stuff, now they're just like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's crazy. He's wrong again. But if you're like, hey, it doesn't look like Joe Biden's going to make it to the election. I don't know. It seems like they might try to replace him. You just say it in that kind of sense. It's just an idea. It's a guess, right? It's not Joe Biden's for sure. This is going to happen. Like, hey, you know what? He's not looking very good. I wonder if they're going to try to replace him now that the primaries are over. And boom, then that happens. And you didn't say it would for sure. You just said, hey, maybe. And all of a sudden, like, oh, and by the way, your friends and family are watching your social medias, guys. So I encourage all you to participate more, even just resharing a meme, resharing somebody's story, or at least sharing somebody's profile that's more active on there. Jay's on like TikTok. I'm using a lot more Facebook and Instagram. So it really helps us if people like you share things. And then because what happens is more people see it. I always use this example of the person I was in a relationship back in COVID days. I always would never wear a mask no matter what. And then they didn't want to wear the mask, but they didn't want to be in the same store with me. And I'm the only person, or both of us are the only ones in the whole store not wearing a mask. So they would put it on just to kind of like, pick your battles. I was adamant I was just not going to do that. So I'm in a store. I'm the only one. But then as soon as another person walked by not wearing a mask, immediately they would take their mask off too because it was free. It's like, oh, it's not just me. It's another person. So you see what I'm saying is the more people that share that truth. Another example I use is like, let's say a spouse and them are talking. One spouse is awake. They're trying to wake up their other spouse. They've been telling them this over and over and over. It's going in one ear, out the other because, the relationship already. But now the neighbor down the street that the spouse kind of respects says the same exact thing. Now it might land because like, wait a minute, that's what my spouse would say. They're not going to admit that, but they're like, wait. And that's going to be frustrating for the spouse. You're like, I've been telling you that forever. But then when they hear it from another source, and that's exactly what on the Think Mirror, we always say Think Mirrors, that's what the fake news has done. They'll have different sources, the same exact things and doing the same exact topics or keywords to brainwash and again coupling the brain into these thought patterns. I got to do something with my animal here. So Jay, why don't we start this video if you don't mind, and we're going to show what we're going to share. I'm going to jump right into the Telegram thing, especially since you hopped off. So this is where we started, QJob 2608. We're going to get to the actual QJob 2608. It's pretty short, but this is the summary. Anon asked what were in the envelopes. Q said our promise to counter. And then it said he confessed everything in his military human rights tribunal, talking about he being George H.W. Bush, filmed on analog in exchange for a Rommel death, which severely implicated many deep state perpetrators. We talked about the Rommel death already. Jay did a great job. It's essentially, again, Erwin Rommel. I guess he was turned in. He didn't like what Hitler was doing in the war, but essentially he was going to have to be suicide. Let's see. And then what interesting connections here, right here. October 14th, 1944, Rommel was confronted at his home and with two generals. They presented with him a grim choice: commit suicide using, I don't know why it does it, using suicide. Oh my gosh, sorry, that one's clickable. Sorry, guys. Where were we? Sorry about that. This is a weird one. That's everything's all clickable. Okay, commit suicide using cyanide or face public trial that would likely result in execution. Still, the generals warned him that his family would also be at risk if he chose to resist. And then Rommel spent his last morning with his son, Manfred, who had returned home from military service. Just keep that last little part in mind of how that relates to George H.W. Bush and George W. Bush, how he was with his son for the last morning. It's very interesting here. The act of suicide after the generals arrived, Rommel was given a small vial of poison. So, anyways, here's the Rommel death, suicide, and kind of Jay touched on it too. Is like you can kind of save face publicly, your family. That's what all these CEO resignations are about. If they turn over evidence, they basically are cooperating witnesses. They're allowed to publicly say they've just resigned, but there's still going to be some sort of arrest. They may even, who knows, still be executed, but their family legacy will not be destroyed. Their family, everything about them will not be destroyed. And that's kind of what part of that is too. And that's why there's been so many CEO resignations, because they didn't go willingly, to say the least. So another part of that, I mentioned the D5 thing, and here's how double meanings work, and also misinformation or disinformation or distractions or think mirror. So Q was said D5, we're like, okay, it's an avalanche. Okay, it can mean that. Then later on, as we got closer to December, Q was making it seem like maybe D means December. So, and then D5 would be December 5th. All of a sudden, lo and behold, John Huber, which we learned about from the Q drops, and he's coming in the public also. We talked about that with Tim and I on our morning show or daily show, the 2:17 Eastern. But Huber was going to give a open hearing or something about the Clinton Foundation, and the meeting was scheduled for December 5th. And then lo and behold, all of a sudden, George H.W. Bush dies, and they have the funeral on what day? D5. December 5th is the funeral. And then at the funeral, all the wives got letters here in these envelopes. And if you go farther back a year ahead, I guess I got to show this Q drop. It's important. So let me show this Q drop just for reference so everybody knows this is a year before. If you go follow the wives, hopefully the search thing's still working for this. Yeah, 240, Q drop 247. Make sure I got the right drop on here. If y'all can see it. Oh, I didn't do the tab. I knew it. Dang it. Here we go. Okay, Q drop 247. And if you, I don't know if you're what you're doing, Jay. If you get a chance, whenever not talking about what's on the screen, let me know. But here's Q drop 247, December 4th, 2017. Very early on the Q drops, but it's one day before December 5th. Okay. Have you been watching the news? I'm gonna skip a little ways down. Date of promotion of wife. How do they stack the deck? How to control a puppet. Number 2 in the FBI. That's Andrew McCabe. Wife connection. What is a pattern? She donated to the Clinton campaign, and he's the one investigating Hillary Clinton's emails, and his wife is donating to Hillary Clinton's campaign. What is a pattern? Follow the wives. Watch this. Follow the wives. Keep watching the news this week. Future proves past. So you're going to see all the wives get the letters and at this funeral, and then the future proves past. So let me go back to this now. Just wanted to show that a little bit. And then they're all looking at the letters. This is supposedly what was on there. It said, they know everything. I'm sorry. George H.W. Bush signed it. Here's, what's his name? Biden's wife, Jill Biden, freaking out to Hillary Clinton. Like, oh my God, what are these envelopes? It says the Bidens received their envelope at the funeral and are being forewarned by Hillary Clinton, who has already seen it. And then here's Q drop 2606. I guess that's the one we were thinking it was 2608. Maybe that we got to double check the numbers, or it could just be blurry. I'm not seeing it right. But the Anon said what were in the envelopes. Q says our promise to counter. There's the counter offer. And you'll see Jeb Bush as well. So we got a little video to play. So I'm going to go take care of this animal situation. I'm going to play this video we got, which is them discussing it for 4 minutes. What'd you say, Jay?
No, let's rock. Let's do it.
Yeah, this will be perfect. A little introduction of what this, if you guys don't know about this whole incident here, okay?
Everybody wanted to know what happened. You play this clip, Rob. I don't know if you've seen this or not. Maybe you can lower the audio a little bit, Rob. Increase it a little bit. This went viral. Everybody got an envelope. President Carter, that's Hillary, Bill. Jeb gets the same envelope. Mom shows it to him. Look at Jeb's reaction and her reaction. Her reaction.
And refresh my memory, was this at John McCain's funeral? Whose funeral?
George
This is
H.W.
Senior.
George
Senior's
H.W.
funeral.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at their facial features, that's no masks. That's the real Clinton. That's the real piece of shit Cheney.
What
That's
is
the
this
real-
envelope? Do you know anything
I
about
have
it? or-
no
Biden.
idea. I have no idea.
What would typically be an envelope like this where you're giving for Jeb to react the way he did for his wife?
Well, I mean, my first thought is, if I remember correctly, President Trump did not attend, or did he?
He did, but he didn't
He
get
did.
an
I
envelope.
believe he ended up having to leave early for something. So
Yeah.
he did not get an envelope, but he was in attendance at the funeral.
Okay. I don't know. My first inclination was something about Trump, but I have no idea. What's
Are you
your
ready? You want to pause that?
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah,
you
that's
think
cool.
about,
That's good.
If you buy into the idea that there's a
So
I
Jim
love
Jordan
that.
said,
I don't know.
I have no idea
Yeah,
three
well, that's
times, but he
fine.
said it twice. I have no idea. 93.
Okay, and he said, "Oh, Colt 93 there too. Twice would be what 186 too." Let's check that out.
Well, the way at least negative 48 that told us, watch out when Trump or anyone says things twice and go decode it once, right? Because they're making you, you know what I mean, stamp it in your brain.
Okay,
So he said it twice. He said, I have no idea. I have no idea. So I was like, oh shit, okay. So that's a calm night, Colt 93 calm. Where's Tim? Shout out Tim. Good night, Tim and Matthew Q. We love you.
See you in the morning, buddy.
And 57, 204. I had a 204 earlier. I forgot for what. 60 is orange. 186, 114, 408. Okay. 60 still.
Yeah, that's interesting too. That's negative 48 said that specifically about the saying things twice, because there's a lot of Q posts that have a repeat. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. I want to almost just scroll to
If
find
I may
one.
as well, if you want
Yeah,
to
go
go
ahead.
back to that video or to the Jeb Bush topic, not the video necessarily, but the way negative 48 had told us is, look at Jeb Bush's reaction. You can't read something that fast, that small. So was it an image?
Yeah,
And it's not my story to tell. So what if it was an image of someone in a wheelchair?
Okay, that people
In
talk about it
March.
too. That whole letter saying they know everything, that never been verified. That was just put out there, and then everyone kind of took with it, and it's just stayed that way. And I was always like, where did this come from? Like, no one knows for sure if that's what it was. Of course, we don't know. And then Jay was saying that think those are the real people, but I also suggest maybe it still might not even be right, because it's all still like top level acting,
CGI-ish.
perhaps. Yeah, or even that, you know what I mean, to be control the whole environment, right? Because even though they got the casket, it's coming by and they got the camera and this perfect shot, and that's right when they show the letter, and boom, the perfect surprise, like I think we were talking about this off camera, is like, yeah, maybe they really would make that reaction, but at the same time, why would they ever risk any variables they're not aware of in a live moment, right? With this, or even that too, if it was the real people, they would have filmed it ahead of time and not put it out live, but I think the people, especially 2018, will be glorious. I think, in my opinion, like he was saying, he called them residuals, or like the tracers are getting, the stuff's already happened, and then we play it out on our own timeline now. Even like the Trump assassination attempt, right, where that was part of the Illuminati's plan. The Illuminati card game was kill Donald Trump. That would cause a lot of chaos, all these things. So then that still has to happen. But then when the White House capture that timeline, they control that assassination attempt, and then it makes people question all these things. And we get this interesting post with like the shooter drops too. Like, see, what was the shooter's name? Or I know there's a double on here somewhere. Was there only one shooter? Okay, look at this. This is Q drop 92, 11-5. Remember, 5th of November. Seth Rich. Las Vegas. What does Las Vegas come out to in Gematria? That was one. Is that 86 also then? That one's 86.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then Los Angeles is what number?
109.
109. That's right. Okay, because we said I knew we had one something similar. Okay, but where'd it go? What was the shooter's name? Where'd we go here? Okay, here we go. Was there only one shooter? Why was JFK released? Very odd question to ask it like that. Why? What do the JFK files infer? Was there only one shooter? So they asked twice, basically in a way, now I've always said too, in my opinion, from just the Q drops, and I never heard that again what you said with -48, because Q will ask something twice, sometimes even without a space. They'll ask them right back to back. And I kind of my own decode off that of hundreds and thousands of hours of doing Q drops and thousands of read the Q posts and as a team is one, if it's asked twice or said twice, it's obviously important to pay attention. That's the first one. But the second one, I've always thought then is a double meaning. There's a second meaning here. So I mean, this one's kind of self-explanatory in my opinion by saying, was there only one shooter? And then you ask it again, was there only one shooter? This is an important question to ask. Sure enough, there is more than one shooter at Las Vegas. There's also more than one shooter with JFK. There's also more than one shooter with the Trump assassination thing. Okay. But I believe on this timeline, we controlled all these things. So that's another trip in itself when you understand that. So I just wanted to show that about the asking the double questions.
That's very beautiful because it leads us to Q drop 1385.
Okay.
If you want to bring it up, only because you said double meanings exist, but this one also has counter in it,
okay,
which is counterintelligence. But we haven't touched on counterintelligence, so let's do that real quick. There's many drops with counterintelligence. You could brief over them through the 86 posts, but this one's interesting. 1385, May 16, 2018. The time is 4:25:07. So I believe that would be PM. Oh, it says PM. My bad. Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
1625.
So U.S. history, ABCs, right, which is FBI, CIA, NSA is your three letters. I don't know what SIS is.
So this. So there's SIS is like the FBI of the UK as far as so it's like It's interesting. SIS is like the FBI of the UK, and then here FBI in the kill box, and then this goes to C_A, which I've in my own interpretation is it's the CIA, but they're without the I, meaning they're missing their intelligence. Q even says, "How do you blind the clowns in America?" I believe that was Snowden 2. Snowden 2 happened March 7th, 2017. After Trump took office, there was a second Snowden event, essentially on WikiLeaks, and it really crippled the CIA, where the original one and even the Q drops make it sound like Snowden was trying to harm the NSA, but I really think that was a double or triple op where then there was a second Snowden that really crippled the CIA, and they waited to drop it until Trump came into office. It's March 7th. It's called Vault 7, actually, Vault 7, but I call that Snowden 2. If you want to look up Vault 7, March 7th, 2017. Go ahead on the rest of the drop, buddy.
Nice. So SIS, the FBI for the UK, when they do that little arrow little thing, that means they're siding with that versus the CIA. So it's like you side with the SIS FBI versus that.
Okay.
Did the covert counterintelligence branch of the FBI end? Or was it expanded into a new agency? ? Double meanings exist. SIS is good? ? That's where Kyle and Tim come in with it's almost insinuating like Q's insinuating yes.
Yeah.
And so UK :US, US :UK, that little switch, information sharing, UK to US, US to UK, right? What is Five Eyes, supposedly? Because we're not supposed to spy on ourselves, right? Anyways, Q. So double meanings exist. I thought that was interesting. Out of the 85, because if you listen to the recording and backtrack a little, Kyle flawlessly mentioned double meanings exist, and we touched on counterintelligence, which is a bunch of other Q posts. But so yes, our promise to counter. So here's my proposition. Essentially, let's activate ourselves. I'm gonna go print out a banner. Right, I'm gonna go to Beverly Hills where the MAGA boys are at, grab a few boys that are, kind of sit on a bridge, stand on a bridge somewhere and do the thing. And, that way, they'll have my back because I'm ballsy enough to do it by myself. But right now with a protest, right now with everyone, see, a few weeks ago when Trump came on, I've been wearing a hat for a while now. Let me tell you my story. I really was never into Trump like that, guys. I don't know if you knew that. You know what I mean? So here comes this entertainer. Right, it's pre-2016. I guess let's go with pre-2015. We know that there's an election coming. I know Hillary's running. I know about the Podesta files, the WikiLeaks, in a sense like that. So I'm a little shook, y'all. I'm a little worried, concerned, dooms. You know what I mean? Hopeful, survivalist, so I was plotting, right? Burying a few caches of fucking things from here to Las Vegas in the desert. Real quirky, lame, worst case scenario, because I don't know anything else. I don't know herbs like that. I don't know how to survive in the desert, none of that shit. So that was my little thing mentally, right? So then incidents happen, whatever, situations on a personal life where we go through bumpy roads, right? So I was at a low, not mentally, but just other, because I was disconnecting from society, right? Not blending in. Then I got word that Trump was coming in, and I was like, oh geez, how more in your face can they put it, right? Another actor, not Ronald Reagan, but another entertainer, mogul, placed there, right? So I was like, the Illuminati, the whole thing as a conspiracy theorist before I knew the plan, right? So I'm like, fuck, we're fucked. An incident happened to me personal life where in February 2017 I had a near-death experience that shook me a lot, connected to the ether, to the to the source. Came back, I asked to come back, so I'm here now. I'm waking up and Trump is sending missiles to fucking to North Korea. Imagine me waking up from a coma, kind of like, oh my god, what's going on, right? I talked to my dad. He's like, oh, whatever. So I started paying attention to the news, flipping through the channels. I start noticing a pattern, which is they talking shit about him. You know what I mean? And me, as a conspiracy theorist for so long, I know if the news tells you to go left, you stay put or you go right. Right.
Yeah.
So with that said, I was just like, all right, something's amiss here. Why are they pounding on him? I get it, but why? And then so I knew about the WikiLeaks, I knew about Podesta, right? The little stuff with connections to Hillary, little stuff like that. So I'm like, well, either. So I'm rethinking stuff, and I'm like, well, him versus her, fuck it, let's see what's going on, right? So I start just noticing things. I clown him on. I'm on Instagram, by the way, Kyle, way back in the day. So been doing it for a while, and then I caught on to what the gig was, their gig, the media and stuff. So the Q drops that we started with, right, and the media doing its thing to just blah 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 over and over. Me, I've always known and been a pattern recognitionist, so I started doing my thing, doing my research. Blah blah blah. Time came and went on. Got on X. Got removed from Instagram for a bit. Went back on Instagram and all that stuff. Been battling it since then. Anyways, someone sent me a link for Telegram in 2019. It's HS Retoucher. So shout out, thank you, whoever that is. Many people think it's Junior. Real quick, quirky one. HS Retoucher is headshot retoucher. They're photography, right? Because there's headshots, right? And you retouch, so you're retouching images, but also headshot retoucher is a headshot retoucher.
Dang, I always wondered because wow, I just found one more connection. So I got this screen up here because in the path of finding my 157s, but so I didn't even realize that I just put in HS Retoucher. The reverse is 157, but when I put the Q in, HS Retoucher Q is 157. And so I had just found that one a while back. I was like, whoa, dude, what the heck? But then now with just HS Retoucher without the Q, the reverse is 157. So that's crazy. And then 59's my birthday, 5th day, 9th month. And then 58, we were just talking about that. I guess August 5th now. And then also Trump won the 58th presidential inauguration. There's some stuff with the Brandon with 58. Adam does a really good job on those ones. I can't think of those ones.
So it's wild that we're doing it today. I've been wanting to do this for like a week now. It didn't work out, blah, blah, blah. Other folks had, sessions going, and I have a weird schedule. Kyle and I do, sometimes don't meet at the same time. So I've been I wanted to do it on an 8/4 in a sense because of the Obama thing, but they had already a show going, so whatever. Waited for today, kind of. We were a little tired out of it. As you guys know, Kyle and folks and Tim are going to be doing Monday through Fridays, 2:17, is it, p.m.?
Yeah, 2:17 p.m. Eastern time. Yep.
Sounds good. So that's 11 o'clock my time. I'll be sure to get up and do my thing. The first day I missed out, I was a little crunched out, but I'll join you guys on the next one. And today I tapped in. So that was good. You guys did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get used to the morning schedule, but I like it because then I got the whole day, but I'm just busy because I'm in football season now too, so I'll be busy in the evenings, but it's all good. It's I feel activated and it feels right. It feels good. So y'all please check us out. It's going to keep you up to date on what's happening with the news. Tim's really good at that. He's always watching all the things. He watches Ben, X22. He's a master. He's been doing that for so long now. He's so tapped in. And I kind of remove myself from the mainstream media stuff and kind of just energetically, if protected myself from that because it was just like drives me nuts. And even though I know they're lying and I know people still believe it, all that, the whole thing, I just removed myself. But then Tim and all the beautiful anons gets me caught back up to speed quickly, because we do got to pay attention, because news unlocks the map. And then everything's just coming full circle. You can see it just, it's going to gain so much momentum. Again, the depositions are coming up. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton are giving all these in the next month or so. It's going to be August, the end of October.
If I may, everyone's like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Are we there yet? Blah, blah, blah. I don't think now, Ref. For those that know, we've been talking about when we started, I think and I feel that they've been tried. They've been
absolutely 100%. That's
you know
when people,
I mean?
it's only
I see
shows
the
that
mask.
say,
Go ahead.
it's just shills that are like pushing this whole the justice of children. Like, first off, they're doing everything kind of save the children. Jay said it really good in the beginning of the show. They're still getting removed. There's all these pockets. If you go to justice.gov, you can track all the arrests they're making on a regular basis. Human traffickers, sex traffickers, violent criminals, murderers are still making these arrests every single day. They arrested 29 law enforcement officials in June alone on specifically child sex trafficking. So these people that we're taught to trust the most, and they're still getting removed. But these big players, they've all been dealt with, guys. And if you don't read the Q drops and pay attention and ask these questions and see these resignations and see that they have no power and see how this election goes and see how it's lining up perfectly with the drops, you're just not paying attention. And that's what's cool. And it gives you this foundation of faith and also trust. And when you actually do the jobs, you're doing the work, and we're also getting involved. And so that's another total nonsense that it was to pacify us. It never was. Q jobs never say sit by and do nothing. In fact, it says the opposite. It's like somebody says, "Is this trafficking in plain sight?" They say, "Call the FBI and see what happens." And you got to make the report. It's about our free will coming forward. And that's what the Q drops were, is challenging us, because only at the precipice will people find the will to change. We have to be pushed to the precipice. Some of y'all still in this total instant gratification generation. You got your feet up on the couch watching TV with your DoorDash order, like, when are they going to make these arrests? While you're just doing nothing. You're doing nothing, and then you wouldn't learn no lesson if it was done that way. Y'all have a purpose. You need to step forward. This freaking ascension is about participation is required in this. It's not, you're not 4 quadrillion to 1 to come in this world to be sitting on the sidelines. You have a role to play. And if you think you don't, you're sitting up, you're totally lost in the first place. That's your ego. That's like, why isn't this happening? This happening. Like, it's already done. They're literally waiting for us. Now imagine how annoyed the military is that they're doing all these things, all this hard work, all these dangerous missions, securing everything for us to step forward. And we still got people saying, when is this going to happen? When they're literally like, how many times are people going to say this? When are you going to do something? Ask not what Q can do for you, but ask what you could do for Q.
I love that, man. When you said that yesterday, so that's
we should get
that's
that
what came to me. That was my download as to why we're here. How can I promise Q,
to counter
DJT?
Yes.
What's my way of my promise to counter? I've been involved with Telegram. Guys, I'm antisocial. I'm an ugly fuck. My features, this and that. I did not want to be on screen. I used to wear a face mask, you know what I mean? Before the mask got popular because of aesthetics. And then all of a sudden, things happen where you have to outgrow your shell. And I don't see myself. I don't want no recognition when all these things go down. I want to tap out, enjoy myself with my humanitarian stuff. But you know what I mean? If it happens, Kyle, right? You know what I mean? Like, we're at this caliber now where it's like, yo, for me, it's like this. I'm already in it to win it. I might as well go all the way. In my past lifetimes, I have some sort of militancy, so some sort of loyalty there for, I will say, to add to the past lifetime, I think I've been like some sort of samurai or ninja. So I felt like I've served the feudal dark lord and done dark deeds.
Yes.
And I don't want to do that anymore,
Right.
In this lifetime, I'm like, that's why I rebelled so much since 5 years old,
Right. Then that's like the quantum nature of things. And also our highest timeline is actually like integrating, if you believe in the past life thing, which, I do it in particular, is you can integrate our parallel lives, however you want to understand it. Even if if you're in advanced programs where they erase your memory or you're on a different timeline, we can integrate all those things into one. So if we did have to do, to serve just a different perspective, if we were dark in a different life, we can honor that and forgive it. And then also that comes full circle where once we finally appreciate what this was all about, because without this darkness, you could not experience the light, right? If there was no darkness, you would have no reference for the light in the first place. And if you think about it too, all these heinous things, as horrible as it is to find out, it's made you rise as a person. And then Jay kind of talked about that's your own personal journey, like trying to come on screen. That's what you were called to do. I mean, I've done it for a while now. I'm more comfortable, but I didn't never even like my picture being taken at all. Like I wasn't so much hiding behind in a mask or anything or the aesthetics, but I didn't like my picture taken. I really strongly connected to with Indigenous. I don't know if there's something with that from the past or like energetically, but it was also come to find out, or what I've kind of understood over time, is loving yourself, And I think, Jay, you might have maybe a similar thing as me, is we kind of dimmed our own light to not stir up any people. I know I was in a family with like three other older brothers, and the families, the parents are working, and then there was a divorce. And I think I was probably like trying to just do everything right, so I didn't have to cause anybody else any problems. But then you're like dimming your own light in a sense, and just like Trump says, you got to talk positively about yourself, man. I think you're a handsome dude, man. You got an amazing voice, and you're brilliant, Anon, Jay. So always please talk about the amazing things about you. But then as I started to love myself more and like accepted the camera thing, then it was a role, and everyone has a role to play, but it is about participating. And maybe that means like writing a poem. Maybe it means you're helping organize some of these meetups or get-togethers we're doing, or maybe you have really good research on free energy technology, or maybe just maybe you're learning this for the first time. You want to ask questions. Maybe you ask a question that nobody else asked, and that sparks us in some way. Maybe just share a link out, and that gets to another person who sparks their awakening, and then they get really involved. Everyone has a role to play, and it's really what your passions are. Like what lights you up the most, start doing that. And that's what this delay is all about. The delay is God's timing. So anybody that's complaining, you're stuck in your ego. You're not trusting in God's divine plan. And he's got something even more magical and beautiful than you could ever imagine. And the more we try to restrict it, thinking it's supposed to be in this box, the more limited you are. You're limiting this awesome opportunity that might be better than you could ever imagine. And I truly believe it's going to be that way. But Anons were whining for back in 2017, 2018. We thought arrests were going to happen then it happened in 2019, and then Epstein's exposed, and then 2020 it's like, oh my gosh, and then all this election fraud, oh my god, Biden's going down, and then went through this 4 years. But think about how much has been exposed, and how much now more people are awake than ever before, and how ridiculous they made it. And obviously, there's still people asleep, but they know they're being lied to, they know it's bullshit. But also your own personal growth. How much have you grown in the last 4 years? And think about it. If Trump came in, they arrested everybody, they caught the election fraud, and everything's back to normal, we would have made the same mistakes down the road. You had to feel the pain. We had to feel this pain so that we remember we never want to be here again. And that's what this is all about. This is what being pushed to the precipice is. And y'all got to make the decision that you want to stand up and fight. There's no sitting on the sideline.
And my thing is, shout out to those that did go to school. You were indoctrinated in that sense. You have something, a niche, or this or that, where something you're good at. For example, I know there's like a good 1,000 of you guys, or the youngsters that are on our team, that are master crammers. They're procrastinators. They're ADD masters, right? ADHD. But when it comes down to it, the crunch time, and something they're passionate about and want to research,
knock it out.
Will fucking go all in and all out. Mm-hmm. Look at Michael said it like this. It's the kids and it's the youngsters that are going to do something. This is 2021, 2022, right? TikTok was flourishing. I wasn't on TikTok like that. And it was the youngsters, that generation that didn't know nothing about Trump, Hillary, the frazzle drip, anything you want to think of like that were like, shook about and excited to tell people about. Sorry, excited is not a good word. You know what I mean? Determined to talk about. These people aren't on that. They're noticing the financial, the IRS, this aspect, and it's the youngsters creating anywhere from a minute to under 3 minute clips of just heat dropping it, So it's beautiful. So where's our promise? I know I'm going long and all that, but we're just marinating on it.
Yeah.
Can you guys promise me that you'll do something? Write a poem, like you said. Print out a bunch of flyers. I'm gonna go get with the boys, Beverly Hill Boys, MAGA team. See who wants to join me. Get on top of a bridge, save the children. Switch it off with a MAGA boys. Switch it off with we do a little trolling. It doesn't matter, something.
Absolutely. Everyone's got a role to play. Thanks for all the comments, guys. See that in there. Appreciate you. So I want to show this Q job since you said that, and it was right in the ones that we were just talking about. So let me hop here before I still remember. So we covered 4511. So Jay covered that one. 4511. I got that on the screen. Yeah, we still got us on here. Breaking the propaganda narrative, and then military civilian alliance. And then I was like, oh, 410, which here's interesting thing on sometimes these searches, they're pretty good, but I'm like, why did this come up there? I don't see counter in this one. At least it's not in red. So, but I'm going to read it because this is, oh, here we are. It's Q drop. It came up in the counter drops, even though I don't see counter in here, which means it's not an accident, Jay. It was all meant to be.
I wrote it down too. Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I want to see the timestamp in here. What's with this one? So it's 1 minute, 43 seconds. So Q responds 1 minute, 43 seconds later, which is 103 seconds total. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution.
Your mic went out. Start over. Is it me or am I having
No, it's
audio?
me. It's me. It's no when the internet resets, it mutes my mic it's so weird that it does that. So, and it's super funny that it happened right in the middle of that. That's just strange to me. So I'll start again. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend. I guess you can say I solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Where we go one, we go all. And then it says, take the oath, mission forward, Q. We're just talking about what's your mission here? What are you supposed to do? That's what the delay is. And even like I say, like spiritually and esoterically or ascension, like on a higher perspective, you are not separate from the reality you live in. Our collective consciousness is all connected. So if something isn't done yet, and you also think it's not correct, or you're waiting for something at a different time, it's not the perfect time yet, or this needs to happen first so I can be happy, you're out of alignment. You yourself are. And I can generally say this. Now, I've gone through a lot in my life to get here and some very difficult situations. I mean, I've been legit homeless twice. I'm very thankful for everything where I've been, but it's shaped me to the person I am. And because of those experiences, I'm truly grateful for every single day. I see the Q drops. I truly know a plan's happening. I have amazing friends. I have like everything I could really ever ask for. My life is beautiful, that I'm enjoying every single minute of this, every single minute. When it's like Trump then, says this about Epstein, I laugh about it. And I see the plan. I see now everyone's talking about it. It's not like Epstein's going to get off the hook or P. Diddy got these low charges. These folks is gone, bro. These folks is gone. So what is out of alignment with you that if you think this needs to happen? And even like further to the med beds. And I will finally say it does seem like the med beds are getting really close. I was always, I want to say against it, but I kind of just kept that always on a shelf. I know they're there. I mean, I'm very familiar with like high level technology. Jay even was talking about, can they be, if a soldier dies, we have some interesting technology you can't even wrap your mind around, like etheric blueprints, like you get your arm, chopped off and it can basically like grow right back because we have this etheric, your DNA's blueprint, just like you could see the aura on you cut a leaf and the aura on that leaf is still there. The human body is the same thing. So we have incredible technology. But the point I'm getting at was so many people. Now, granted, we didn't understand this. We were all tricked. Everyone was tricked. So we've been poisoned unbeknownst to ourselves. But also our health, if we're in poor health, it's deteriorated over time, over prolonged habits, because the natural state of the human body from God is in perfect health. So if you aren't in perfect health, it means your environment is poisoning you in some way. And people, that same thing, are just waiting for, they think they could live this life so poorly. They're taking crap medicine, or they're eating poorly, or they're not exercising, they're not doing this. And when's the med bed so I can fix my XYZ? Well, why don't you start implementing one little step right now that'll make you do something better? Like just something small. Don't all at once, right? I'm going to start walking every morning. I'm going to walk after I eat every day so I have better digestion. I'm going to say prayers and try to eat more consciously and be present when I eat. I'm not going to turn my phone off. I'm going to turn the TV off so I'm not eating all fast and eating more than I need to. I'm going to fast like once a week. I'm going to fast once a month. Like there's an infinite possibilities. You know what's best for you, but when are you going to start implementing those things for yourself to start improving your health before that comes around? Because you have all the tools within you. That's really the big secret. All this other stuff is still reaching for something outside of us. Even if we're like looking for that pill to fix it, there's something internally that needs to be corrected. So start healing yourself. I mean, our DNA is the holy grail. That's what the magic is. So when you start embodying it, when you move, walk, and talk as if you're the own king or queen in your own kingdom, your DNA starts to upgrade itself as it is. And then we have these beautiful light codes coming in with the Schumann resonance is all helping you get there. But you got to be the one that takes this step. I mean, we didn't come here to just freaking observe. You got to get out of that mode. We came here to participate. We came here to try things. We came here to fail. And that's shedding all that programming. Like when we do these shows, we don't know what it's going to look like. We're not the best in them. And now, Mel and I in our group, we've done stuff for so long. We are pretty good, but we didn't start out that way. And even still, we're feeling things out. And, like Jay was talking about, we were trying to get in and do something. And then we finally started it. We didn't know where it'd go. We have no idea, but it's flowing, and we're just gonna keep moving, and we'll get better, and everything happens how it's supposed to. But if you're just sitting there and you're all waiting around, I mean, why did you come to this life for that? You know what I mean? We didn't come here for this magical experience to just sit here and do nothing. It's not how it's supposed to be.
I really like that. Thank you for that. That's beautiful. Everyone, round of applause. Thank you, Kyle. What grew on me when you were saying that is, okay, you're right. It doesn't have to be a pamphlet. It doesn't have to be a where we go all movement. How about your promise to counter can be you walking more, you activating yourself, looking into better oils.
You kind of even said that, just to follow you up, not to cut in there, but like that's a great point. Is like you no longer shopping at Amazon, right? You finding a local farmer, you growing your own food. Like you all of a sudden you're now bankrupting these big food labels and other things that they're no longer getting that same business. You're buying American made. You're not getting this cheap crap from China. And those are big steps. And again, if it's don't underestimate the impact of a small group of people doing something, and then it catches fire. And then I've kind of been given that download message too. Anything in the future here, any businesses that are not serving the people, they're not taking care of the planet or the animals, will collapse under their own weight. Because people are awake now. The mainstream media doesn't cover for them anymore. They're looking at what's in the products. Why does this yogurt have polysorbate 80 in it? Why does that need to be in this yogurt? That's a blood-brain barrier thing. Like, I'm not going to ever eat this yogurt again. And guess what? You start doing that, the company is either going to go bankrupt or they're going to start making it natural and healthy for you. And that's a shift right there. Massive. And then you heal yourself, and then now you're a healed parent, so your children aren't hurt people, right? We're the ones that break that chain. We're the ones our ancestors have been waiting for. So be the change. Start making those changes. Heal your inner child. That's a big one. Sorry, Jay.
Correct. Kyle and I were talking about stuff, and I'm going to say the P word, and it's very disturbing, so bear with me. The parasites. How can we counter the parasites? Let's start with that one too. So, you know what I mean? Do your thing. I brought up diatomaceous earth. This isn't medical advice, by the way. I brought up diatomaceous earth for Kyle because he said he hit the animal feed store for his cat. So I'm like, hey, but did you know that there's a little regimen and protocol for, parasites? So little stuff like that for me. I did the intermittent fasting. You know what I mean? That helped me a lot. I'm getting older, and with that metabolism and all that stuff. But what I'm learning as well, the way they crunch down the food pyramid, which is inverted, by the way, so it's not healthy for us. The way they crunch that down for so long, I'm pretty sure I did that for like 15 years, right? From age 3 to like 18, where I didn't know any better, right? I ate their pattern, their food pyramid style, their bleached products, their refined sugars, etc., for so long, where I'm deteriorating faster than the folks that haven't, than the French that don't have GMOs, than such and such in certain aspects, right? So with that, I need to put a stop to it or reverse it. So my way is intermittent fasting. I've been doing the ivermectin. You could cough on me and all that stuff, and I'll be like, it's fine. I don't know if you knew, guys. I don't know if you know this. I'm sensitive. I have asthma, allergies. 10 years ago, please don't cough around me. I'm such a germaphobe as well, right? But before I even knew about ivermectin, I was still sensitive. It's like, yo, get away from me. Now it's like, all right, whatever, cough it out, whatever. And I'm good, right? Because I feel safe and secure with that. So
thanks for sharing that, Jay. Like, that's important, and Tim and I talk about that. You kind of talked a little bit that you weren't a Trump fan. Tim and I talked about, I never paid any attention to politics. Couldn't stand it. I didn't know what a liberal or conservative even meant. I didn't know a conservative, Republican, Democrat. I had no idea what any of that even meant. Never voted. And the QJobs actually taught us that stuff. But I would have definitely been like a liberal, and then I had heard from the circles I was following that it was a good thing that Trump won. I was like, okay, but then I started, when I was living back home around that time too, after the first crash and burn, and watching like Comedy Central, because just for the comedy, but then the Daily Show would start. So I was naturally kind of paying attention more to politics, but it starts feeding that stuff in, feeding it in, starts planting that in. And then it's just important to share that because we've all been through these experiences, and then you start to question things and you ask different things. And that's powerful story, I think, for others too, because it's like, it's not like you were always one way or the other. And Einstein always said the greatest the sign of somebody with intelligence is the ability to change their thoughts, to change their thinking, to change their mind is what it is. And so when you've been one way, and Tim was like that too, he was a mask carrier, and he says he was all fearful when COVID first hit and we get locked down and we go, he's staying at home, he's watching all these, and he started coming across these, people doing the Q drops, and like, what is it? He just kept asking questions, and he wanted to get to the truth. And before you know it, right away, I was like, wait, this is all bullshit. This is crazy. So we've all been in those spots. So it's important to also, acknowledge where we have been on this journey and honor that and who we are. It's all different aspects of who you are. It makes you who you are now. And I think just being honest about that story is a valuable story to tell other people, because people can relate to that, and people will trust you too. Like, hey, this is what I thought, or hey, maybe you did take the vaccine. I know there's a lot of fear out there and people are fearful. I do trust. I'm always optimistic. I do believe there was certainly a placebo out there, like, especially because it was being tested on the public. So I hope like 50% in the beginning were some sort of placebos, although even the placebos have like mercury and shit in them, which aren't great. So you still want to do all the detoxes. And even if you aren't vaccinated, you can still get shedding from all the people too. So do those spike detoxes. Again, we're not a medical whatever bullshit. Do your own research. Trust your body, multiple sources, and be smart about things. Again, ivermectin or all these different things you can do. And sweating is just a really good one also too, like getting sweating. Jay mentioned intermittent fasting. That's really powerful. That helped me a lot too, because I always thought I was had this high metabolism, and I do, but I was hungry all the time. And again, if you're hungry all the time, it could be because all the worms right in all in your body, and that's for real because they've built up over time, and they're the ones that are hungry. That's where the cravings come from. I had an ex that was taking the ivermectin, all of a sudden stopped craving sugar. This is a common thing that might happen also. So there's so much you can do, but it just starts with you deciding. But the one thing I did like was the intermittent fasting, because that was a little bit like a introduction. And the one I learned from, you only had to do it 3 days a week. And now you do it 3 days a week for like 4 weeks. Then you could go to 4 days if you want 5. But the beautiful thing was, an intermittent, guys, is basically you're fasting for a period of time. The one that I learned from was like 16 hours. So you just like stop eating 8 hours before bed, or, assuming you sleep 8 hours, or if you sleep 8 hours, maybe don't eat for 8 hours afterwards. It's going to be weird at first because we're so programmed to eat. This is more programming. And a lot of us eat actually to fill a void. That's what I mean by being more present. And you'll notice you're like, wait a minute, why am I like, you think you're hungry, but you're not. A lot of times maybe you're dehydrated, or that I would eat like some salt, and then, some tips there. But just to do that a few days, build this certain kind of discipline. And I got to get back onto it, but I was almost getting too skinny at one time. But it also helps your body break down the glucose, which will prevent diabetes. And the one guy even says, Alzheimer's is like diabetes of the brain. I think it's like your body's not breaking down the glucose, and part of this because we're eating all this crap gluten, which is sprayed by Monsanto. So if you can switch to organics, ideal. But again, just having this fasting lets your body not only break the food down, but your body works so hard to digest all this stuff that it can't heal itself. But once it doesn't have to do all that work, it can start healing itself. I mean, if you have cancer or really severe illness, just don't eat for like 5 days. See what happens. You know what I mean? I mean, drink water. You want to get your nutrients, and that's where like pink Himalayan salt, or some of these have, like 85, all the all kinds of different things you can do instead of like eating. Your body can get nutrients and let it cleanse itself, and you might feel better than you have in a long, long time. And it was just something simple like that.
Correct. One I could add is also, I'll say a fair warning. When you do a cleanse or a cleanup or a detox, you will feel bad. So if you have side effects, look up the side effects. Some call it herxing. There's the possibility of herxing when you do too much ivermectin. Your body's not used to it, so it does this little thing. But just run with it, you know what I mean? Because many of us haven't detoxed kind of ever. Some of us haven't done it for 30 years. Some of us haven't done it for 20. Some of us haven't done it for 10. If you've done it last year, good for you. Do it again, right? I personally recommend, and I say this, I'm not a professional, so don't, it's just look into trying to do 2 parasite cleanses a year, 1 to 2 type of fasting protocols that, like you mentioned, anywhere from 3 days to 21. It depends on what you want to do. And the other one is detoxing. So it's 3 things. It's and not in that order. So it's up to you. Detoxing, fasting, and parasite cleanses, right? For me, because if you tackle all these things, you know what I mean. You're working slowly at it. Don't all engage in everything, just like Kyle mentioned. I did 5 days of intermittent fasting. But my thing was, if I may, Kyle, with the food pyramid, is that you're right. It was our brain telling us and our accustomed nature to think I have to eat in the morning for fuel, right? And stuff like that. When really, I started doing this later in life, maybe after my 20s, where I was like, I just need fuel. I don't need food. I want fuel, right? When I started saying that in my brain, things changed. I would eat less, right? Because I just got the fuel, the energy, kept it pushing, right?
Yeah.
So
That's kind of
that's
similar,
one
almost a
way.
little bit to the placebo thing too. You were like similar. You were talking about the coughing. You thought maybe you'd get sick. Then later on, you're like, "Oh, I'm just going to shed it. It's going to be fine." That's like the same thing. Sometimes we think we need to eat, but we don't. That's where we're maybe dehydrated, or again, you might have different parasites and stuff. I was going to follow up something. One
And
little
the
funny
custom
thing.
of like 10 years of eating 3 meals a day kind of thing,
Oh
it'll get
yeah,
to us. So to ease at it, don't jump into stuff, because once you do, you know what I mean? There's those folks that oh, it's New Year's, I'm gonna work out. And they fucking work hard for a whole month, 2 months, and then the third month they're burnt out.
maybe.
They don't know how to do it. So you have to ease into it. I
Yeah,
wouldn't recommend
a
you going to
lifestyle.
start jogging 15 miles, you know what I mean? If anything, a little block around, just like you said, gradually. So yes, I recommend that. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tapping in with us. This is another way of our promise to counter. How can you counter? So we're helping ease that, and I'm helping advocate for it. I'm a hype man.
Hype
Thank you,
man.
folks, that have allowed me for it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
call myself Negative 48 Hype Man. Thank you, sir. I salute you. Thank you for everything. I now call myself Kyle Hype Man. So I'm just kidding. So we're all a team. We're all in there. But I've never wanted to be a front or a face for anything. But I'll sure join my boys and the generals and all that stuff. So with that said, I'm here to hype you guys up. Let's get it done. How can we do this? How can we counter my way? Like I said, I keep
I love
talking
that.
about it, but I have to do it.
It's us
Going to
us
Beverly
making the
Hills,
counter.
talking to a few boys, be like, hey man, you want to join me? I'm gonna print a banner, this and that. You guys want to join me? So they could have my back. We have some fun, play a little music, do a little trolling, right?
I love that. I
And
love that. The other
what are
thing too.
yours is, pamphlets. It could be anything. I don't know, man. Think about it. I don't know. We're getting tired, but love you guys. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So the medical advice, it's not that. It's just my personal advice as a friend and what I've done, recommendations to your C word thing and the V word stuff. To me, you know what? You're right. I think no, it was a lot of placebo. And I will say this: if there were deaths, there were a lot of deaths through the flu shot. So I think they just got relabeled. The flu shots did.
Yeah, I mean, and then there seemed like the protocol was there to even like kill the people. Also, it's pretty sick, the whole thing. One thing I want to add about the food too, another kind of programming we'll get to the whole idea of food coma. Right, when we actually eat real food, you actually get energized, but we get in a food coma when it's all this processed crap, and your body's literally again working to try to actually start processing this. Your body shuts down, gets tired. So I want to add that. I got to do something with the animal, Jay. Give me 30 seconds if you want to follow up, and then maybe we'll get a video here pretty soon and wrap it up. Since thank you guys for hanging out with us all night. We've had quite a few people over on X and Rumble for the middle of the night. I'm kind of curious where y'all from. Drop in the comment if you're still awake and listening, whether you're on X or Rumble. Comment where y'all from. Let us know where y'all viewing at. We got one person out there on Facebook too. I appreciate whenever I see people on Facebook on there. That's why I keep bringing it up. Oh, and then somebody on Instagram, Ken Aerosmith said, I'm making my dinner right now, eating once a day, and basically lay down for sleep. I've never felt better. So thanks for sharing that too, guys. That was over on Instagram. It's nice to have that back. It's a smaller screen on the recording with Instagram, but it's nice to be able to show it. Having lots of followers over there, a bunch of Anon community, so I appreciate it. But let me go take care of this animal. If you can carry us for
That's
30
right.
seconds,
Yes,
I'll be
sir.
right back. Yeah.
So with this one, I'm gonna read Q Post 1266, April 25th, 2018. It's interesting. This one has the moves and counter moves in it. So we knew this day would come. We knew people would need a guide. We all have a part to play. We knew Flynn would be challenged. Part of the plan, question mark. Flynn Jr., recent, did not lie to VP, timing, plan, signal sent, White Hat's position, question mark, moves and counter moves, role outside of White House or White Hats, right? Lost house, funds for legal, beat up, you are watching a ... right? What's in the background? It's showtime, right? What is right? What is wrong? Up is down, left is right, left is left, all caps left, right? So what are they telling us with that, right? The inversion, the this, the reverse psyops, the reverse everything, a little bit of everything. So 1266, White House position rapid changes, or White Hat's position rapid changes. Why? Question mark. Planned? Question mark. Visibility in one helps another. Connected? Question mark. C_A to SEC of state NK, Iran, Russia, China, Mexico. Why is this relevant? Think pushback. Open source. Why? They are watching. Proofs provided to retain. Future proofs past. History books, right? So that's that one. And then there's more. I like to read this, but the moves and counter moves to me and what we're doing, you know what I mean? So we're here now. They told us we wouldn't see arrests. We got Diddy. They told us we wouldn't see this. We wouldn't see that. Obama this, Hillary that. We're getting it in incrementally, right? And in residual format. Because like Kyle said, if they told us this in 2020, no, not honestly, Kyle, I'm going to be honest. Let me go with, I probably wouldn't even able to process it. And I've been a conspiracy theorist for a long time. You know?
Yeah, and no one even knows how deep it really even goes. People that are that think they're the most awake still don't have any idea that it's the depth of the how dark it really is, and like some when it gets to the spiritual components, it almost boggles the mind. But truth is stranger than fiction. But that's all part of it too. And we come around to things cyclical, and you are exposed to information when you're ready for it. So we're all here to help process those things with each other, and so help hold the line. That's part of it too, is be there for each other on because it's tough to learn all this stuff too, but it empowers you, right? When you learn that it really is this evil cabal of network of people. It's hard to believe at first, but it's also, I love that there's a post about Occam's razor. Occam's razor means when there's multiple possible explanations for something, usually the most simple one is correct. So when people ask, like, how could, like COVID, how could everybody be in on it, right? But then when you like piece everything together, nothing else makes sense unless there's this evil network of people that blackmail and are in control of positions of power, and then work there and then just tell the people below them what to do. It actually, of all the things, as crazy as it is, it makes the most sense that that's exactly what's happening. That's the Occam razor's answer, is that there's this evil cabal network of people that have been in control of the world and done everything they can to stay in power and keep the people out of power, and poisoned us and made money off us and kept us sick and dying so that we would stay customers and make the money, and then dumbed us down in education and the like. It kept going and going.
Yes, sir. You want to finish reading that 1266?
Yeah, sure. And then it
the
looks
other
like, I
part?
guess I could keep charging, but I think my
And then we'll
battery's
do that
getting low
video.
too. Yeah, and then and we'll wrap it up here soon too. Okay. Here, back to the QJAP. So Jay read the first part, really awesome. And then, so this is 1266. I think that's 1255 embedded in it, or 1265 embedded in 1266. So he just read 1265 essentially, which is inside of 1266. Look at that, 12/21/21 on that timestamp too. 12/21. That's the executive order, or also the darkest day of the year, December 21st, Northern Hemisphere. But that's when they signed the executive order in 2017, December 21st, 2017, Executive Order 13818, blocking the property of people involved in human rights abuse, serious human rights abuse, and or corruption. So, and that would be, they have all the assets. And let me just show the damn, let me show that executive order since I mentioned it now. So y'all can see it. There it is. I got it right there. So executive order 13818. There's Trump smiling, cheesing, blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. Okay, it was written on 12/20/2017, but it went into effect 12:01 a.m. at 12/21. It's right there at the bottom, right here. This order is in effect at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time, December 21st, 2017. And then Q also said track resignations. That very same day, the Google CEO of Google resigned. Okay, this is how you see that when you're following the Q jobs, you're doing the research, you're looking for things, you see that this plan has been going on. It's actually happening. And the people are saying, whining about shit, just aren't even paying attention. But what this executive order does is it allows the government actually to seize this property of anyone involved in this stuff. So you're talking about BlackRock, Vanguard, Bill Gates, all these guys involved in human rights abuse or corruption even. Talking about Doge and stuff. And by the way, Doge didn't start in 2024. Doge has been way back. Okay, again, like Jay said, the residual, we called them tracers, but it's like all this stuff has actually happened, but now it's being rolled out to the public at this step-by-step manner so people are ready for this information on a collective level. Where we go one, we go all doesn't mean just because you think you're ready for it, everyone else is. It's not about that. It's all, we got to do this all together. But the point being is we have all this property, guys. We have everything, literally everything. So whatever you think that this is being bought or whatever deal Trump's doing is it literally is exposing this. And then we have control of all these assets, all their assets, BlackRock, Vanguard, all their assets, all of them. So am I not sharing this page? Dang it. I thought I clicked over here.
No, yeah, sorry about that. You weren't. Correct. With that said, so some of us can still do the fear mongering. Don't get me wrong. Some of us are newbies. I call them normie patriots. Normie patriots are gonna, no matter what you say, no matter how, right? If the shills and the blue pillars have a hard time, imagine with the normie patriots. There's stuff that's over the target for them, too over the top, too much. You know what I mean? They can't handle it, right? The mask stuff, the JFK stuff, the JFK Jr. stuff, even with that, right? So we could delve into it in a few seconds. With the whole Q telling us, consider the vastness of space. Is JFK Jr. alive? No, et cetera, et cetera. They kind of have to, through these military style operations, kind of have to continue that story. Legally, JFK Jr. is dead. He hasn't been named, please.
That whole thing, and like you said, all those questions, that was the very, like, one of the first Q&As, and even at the end it said stress test failed. Also, too, just the way they answered stuff, because they also just kind of honestly triggering our consciousness. Some people still, the savior complex. Oh, Q says this, it means everything. I talk about this like Q drop 60, like in the movement, all the anons reference Q drop 60 like for gospel and never actually critically think about the drop here. Let me do this drop real quick. This is a great example. I'm going to keep teaching it more because Q said question everything. That would certainly include the Q drops and Q. So Q drop 60, many people know this. They speak it for verbatim, but they don't actually think critically about it. You can count the people who have the full picture on two hands. Of those, less than 10 people, only 3 are non-military. Why is this relevant? Game theory. Outside of a potential operator who's been dialed in with his orders specific to his or her mission, nobody else has this information. And I'm not going to read the last part yet because Q validated themselves in multitude of ways. That would be zero deltas with the President of the United States. Mathematically impossible to be a coincidence. There's so many more zero deltas than 1 minute deltas, 2 minute deltas. I've shown that. I'm not going to show that graphic right now. They validated themselves in all these other different ways. Now, what would be, when you're dealing with an intelligence operation, the most valuable asset is information. Information is everything. That's why it's called intelligence operations. You're gathering information and intelligence so you can have an advantage. So what would be very important information? Well, the number of people on the team would be one of the most important things and valuable information there is. So why would they just give this information out to the public just for to sound cool, to be validated? Like, yeah, this is how many people are on the team because that's going to give what advantage is that? Just think about the art of war. Why would they tell us that information? And we get that confirmation right here. Operators never divulge. Operators never divulge. That's not how many fucking people on the team. They'd never tell us that. Watch this. You want to see confirmation? You ever done less than 10? Look up less than 10 on the Q drops. How many Q drops have less than 10? 9 drops. 9 drops, less than 10. There's your confirmation. Less than 10 drops can confirm the map. It's about reading the map, unlocking the decodes. Not 10 people on the team. Now, yes, there'd obviously be a very tight-knit unit, but I think we got quite a bit more, even though you don't want it to get too big. But I think we got quite a bit more. But either way, they never tell us. And then you search that. Then we get your confirmation. Less than 10, 1-0, you get 9 drops. Okay, it's not less than 10 people. Only 3 are non-military. They're never going to give us that information for free. Why? What advantage? Remember, operators never divulge. So the point is, you got to question everything, especially Q. So Jay was talking about that Q&A there. The one person asked, did a missile hit the Pentagon at 9/11? And they said no. And that's interesting because we've seen some video. I don't believe anything I see, but this one video was pretty compelling. It kind of looks like a missile that could fly. It kind of had wings. I don't know if anybody's seen that one that hits the Pentagon, which, by the way, there's another psyop on us. They give us this one tiny grainy shot from a gas station. It's like the Pentagon's the most freaking secure building in the world. It's got cameras on every corner, let alone the cameras all around the neighboring area. And they give us this crappy shot. And then the very next day, the freaking people came in and essentially cleaned up a crime scene. But that's one little topic among others. But the point is, Q was doing a stress test. They were giving us different answers, I think, to just cause people that were going to get triggered one way or the other, no matter how you went at it. And then, or let's go back to the JFK Jr. thing, and that there's big decodes on that too, like, oh, he wouldn't be junior anymore, yada, yada. I always just say, if JFK Jr. is part of the plan, and obviously a big part of that, and a huge part of this operation, what do you think they would say? They'd be like, oh, yeah, he's alive. You got us. He's alive. And then it would just be a frenzy. It would be a shit show. It'd be a fiasco. Like, you don't even have to do this decode that he's not junior anymore. Like, what the fuck do you think they would say if he really was on the team and some guy asked, is JFK Jr. alive? You're going to say, no. Hello? Like, be a critical thinker. I don't know what more we could say about that. I get it. Like, stop worshiping. Stop giving your power away. Stop worshiping any entity, anyone. Like, oh, Q didn't say this. Juan said this. Like, question everything. Use your own intuition. Trust yourself. Think for yourself. That's going to help you more than anything. Strengthen your own intuition, your own discernment, because even when everybody started having infighting and attacking other people in the movement, I still remember the day somebody's like, just give us a list of all the people we can trust. That's never going to happen. You can't have that. And then for anybody else that hasn't heard me say this, is every single person will be attacked. So always listen to the message. Don't get caught up on the messenger for multiple reasons. I don't want to talk too long-winded here, but one is the really legit Anons, digital soldiers, will be attacked in every kind of way. All assets deployed. Now the shills, the infiltrators, they'll be exposed by the Anons, so they'll get attacked and exposed. So everyone will be attacked one way or the other. There's just no way to slice that. So that's where you got to strengthen your intuition. On the flip side, I've seen stuff too where infiltrators would actually put out good information, and it was first. Sometimes they did this to gain themselves credibility. So that's why I also didn't block these accounts years back. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy just had this decode and dig, and nobody else has this. This information is legit. Later on, I'm like, this guy's a shill, but shit, maybe they'll bring out other good information just to try to get credibility, just get people to trust them. And that certainly does happen. So that's why we'll do a video and they're like, oh, that's Charlie Freak. Don't watch that video. It's like, that's such this limited box thinking. Like, whatever you think you know about XYZ person, just watch this information and just take it with a grain of salt like you should with everything else, and then weigh it. But if you're like, automatically write it off, you're no different. You're like the mainstream media is, this crazy right winger is doing this. Like, you're putting things in a box. So stay open-minded, use your intuition, use your discernment, and be open to being wrong. Because especially even what this beautiful world might look like, stop trying to fit it in a box. Just be open to more possibilities, more solutions beyond our imagination, more abundance than we could even imagine. But enjoy the ride and get involved with it, and it's going to be that much more fun for you. That's all I got.
Promise to counter.
Our promise to counter.
If I may, with that one
100%.
real quick, I'll add this. I've said this for a hot minute now, in a sense. A lot of folks are going to go 96, 97, 98% of the way, and then they're going to flip. So it might be your friends, it might be some people on the chats, it might be this. Kyle was right. You really want to list it, you have to go with your heart. How do they make you feel, right? Sometimes, who is Epstein? Who are these folks? What if they're triple agents? So we're all demonizing, oh, that they're CIA, Mossad. That's it. That's it? Are you sure? Well, what if, you know what I mean? Oh, I don't know. I could go on,
You
but just,
just
you know what
don't
I mean?
know. Nope, nobody
You
knows
never know.
157. This fool knew one. This fool knew 157. I love that
Let's
one.
go, motherfucker. Ice Cube, man. So it's been beautiful, guys. Thank you so much. I like to end it. He said, enjoy the ride. I'd like to end it with Q Post 1046. We'll get into the other ones later. I'd like to do 1081 tomorrow. I'd like to do 1241 tomorrow. I'll invite my friend James. Um, he could spiel you on a little bit how Negative 48 did it, because we're trying to build for the next little few sessions where we'll have a show on Negative 48, and people coming in, giving their stories and all that stuff. So shout out to the Gematria General. With this one, 1046, what it reads, just everything we've been saying. I lost my place.
I'm sorry. I just
With what James could help us with tomorrow is the way Michael will tell us is, how did they make you feel? Fuck all this, fuck what you hear. You're right about Charlie Freak. I did go on at him with a particular crew that I was with, but you know what I mean? With that stuff, I went at people. My sincere apologies if I hurt anyone. There's a few folks that I went harsh. I learned my lesson. I knew what not to do and what to do now. So even if they're bad, it might help us, you know what I mean? In the long run, right? Just
well,
like
I
he
think
said,
that's all part
how
of
can
it,
we
and it's
know
sorry.
light when we don't know darkness yet, Go ahead.
I mean to step on you. I'm sorry. I thought you. That's all part of it. I think too. Is even at the time you felt the way you felt, and you said what you said, and that would trigger certain people in certain ways, and then they deal with that, and people work things out. And then also this too. Like there seems to be people in the movement who might be legit, but then it's like, but then they're like, there's some part of the story like, what's up with this? And it's like what? And you can't. The conclusion I come is like they're all just challenging again. The white hats, the alliance, where you want to have you. It's like you're being challenged in every way to like, for one, detach from all this, right? Again, not make the savior, not trust anybody 100%. Even if like Jay's always giving me really good information, he gives me something new, I still gotta be like, take it as a grain of salt, still gotta question it. And you're just like, and then whatever that may be, you know what I mean? And also that to all, I like this too, we all have unique perspectives, right? Like an ancient way of thinking was like, there's no such thing as truth with a capital T, there's only truth with a lower t. It's all perspective. Like you're all seeing things from a different angle, a different perspective. I like to show the graphic where it's like a pyramid type shaped object where if you're looking at it from the bottom, it looks like a square. Somebody looking at it from the side, it's a triangle. The person from the side says it's a triangle. The person below is like, no, it's a square. Well, they're both right, but they're both wrong because they don't have the full picture. But from their angle, their perspective, they're telling their truth. And that's really what I feel like our mission is. From your perspective, you tell your truth, you speak your truth, you say it courageously, and then somebody else from somewhere else hears that, and that triggers them because it's different from their truth, but then they can analyze it and then come to a higher truth. Maybe they analyze that information, they say, no, that doesn't fit, and throw it out. But maybe they analyze it, I'm not sure, set on the shelf, come back to it later, now it makes sense, right? And that's what I believe this whole thing is about too, is having our belief systems, but being so secure in your belief system that it doesn't matter if anybody else even believes anything. That, like, you don't need another person in the world to believe the same thing you do. That's where I'm at. And I've kind of even come to this conclusion. Sometimes the people that push the hardest, that you need like to follow their belief systems, actually don't believe it themselves. They're projecting onto other people to believe what they want you to believe, because they actually aren't convinced. So they're trying to convince you. I'm so convinced in my beliefs that I don't care if anybody else believes. I don't care if another single person on earth doesn't believe me. So that's where I'm at. That sounds like a good way to counter the narrative. Let's
Cheers,
get a
brother. Yes,
closeout
sir.
video.
So let me read this one.
Oh yeah, let's do a
1046.
good job.
I'll read the black cube part, and you read the other one.
Okay.
It says, as of the parentheses, it says 922280. That's interesting. 92 is D Trump. 29 is black. So many other things. There's a 222 in there. There's a 228. There's a 28. Anyways, I could go on. We don't inform our enemies of the specifics, everything we just talked about. We instead instill fear in them and make unplanned and disastrous counter moves. Us,
Bang.
shit posting, and on shit talkers, me, you. Do you really does anyone really know what Kyle's going to do and present? Nobody really does. He just don't expect anything. What does it say? We instead instill fear to you shills. We see you. To you black builders, blue builders. We see you. We'll give you your 2 minutes, and then you're out of there, bro. Love you guys, man. Check us out on Telegram. Check us out on Rumble. Thank you guys. Soon we'll be doing a little pledge for donations. It's about that time. A few of our friends, we work very hard. Shout out Melzie. She works very hard, does her thing in a town and state where it's, you know what I mean? I'm in California. Kyle's in Alaska, where I'm sure things are pricey as shit. So, you know what I mean? We're not in Kansas anymore. Love you, brother. It's been good. Let's do this tomorrow, part 2. Good introduction. Thanks to anyone you want to play a video. And thank you, everyone on the Rumble, chatting it up to your friends, to your connections. They do a phenomenal job. I have a little surprise for y'all. If you'd like to send Kyle your information, I'll be sure to mail you some stickers. So thanks to the 3 individuals that were commenting these last 2 days. I think it's 4 or 5 of them. Let's send them some stickers, bro. Love you.
All right, thanks, brother. I think I'm lagging because my computer is about to die here. I got a little battery left. I got it plugged in here. So let's see if we can get a little closing video to wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be back more. And Jay, it's kind of the first time we actually, I think, did our own show on Rumble, so it was fun. We'll feel each other out. It was fun to do the thing, though. I like it. I'm still definitely lagging a little bit. Hopefully, I can play a video. Maybe I should hop out.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Let's do that one, and we're gonna set up for a negative 48 special. And then Kyle and I have been talking about it for a while. We'll do a Kendrick Lamar, Drake thing.
Oh yeah, we've been wanting to do that for a minute.
Special.
I'm gonna hop out just for a second. I'm gonna be right back.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you can hang in there. Stay there.
Let me finish reading this off. But so Q 1046 says Epicenter, Full House. They are all here 24/7, 365. Enjoy the show, Q. It's been fun, y'all. How you doing? What's the word, bird? Check us out on Telegram. Hey, did you see Snoop? Just thank you, Snoop. Tupac, Pop Smoke, Nipsey Hussle, Robin Williams. Let me see, Mac Tice, thank you for joining us on the chats. If you guys have negative 48, thank you so much for everything that you've done. JD, not JD Vance, JD, that was admin, and a few other wonderful folks. Our prayers and well wishes to Sabrina Gal, that's been going through it and all that stuff. So love her very much, love them very much. Our full-fledged support, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, physically, my love to them. She's activated. It's on. We cannot have her leave, you know what I mean, like that in a bad way. So let's just send her love and prayers, and folks like that are in the fight. Shout out to our boy Ben Danklin. Man, you've been doing it. Wonderful job. It's an honor to be in this fight with you, Ben. And folks, a smile of Jamacha. Yeah, love you guys very much. All the folks, the negative 48 crew and folks like that, the new crew on the boots 48 boots on the ground folks, and shout out to Refiners Fire and all that. Where's White Knight at? Let's go bother them.
Yeah, he's crushing.
I'll see you in a bit. I'm gonna go on Telegram. We'll do the night shift. You heard?
You heard? So let me try to find this video here first for 1 second. I'm trying to find something. And we had it. You know which one I want to do is that little military one that to close out from, was that Vinny's movie video? Remember we were doing that with Mel earlier? Do you know where that one went? Oh, here it is. Yeah, I got it. Cool. Okay, here we go. We're going to take off. Thank you all for being. Love you guys. See you soon. We'll be tomorrow 2 p.m. Eastern, 2:17 p.m. Eastern time, our Monday through Friday show. We're going to be rocking and rolling. So come join us. Hang out with us during the day. We'll get you caught up on the news and the deltas for the day. All right? Love you guys. Okay, boom, 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 baby. Let's go. Bang, bang. There she goes. I'm going to end it over on Instagram side over here so it doesn't get all
Yes,
laggy on
sir.
that side. Thanks. There's our show tomorrow, guys. Go ahead, Jay.
Real quick shout out to Brian and Jamie. We'll see you guys here next. So
Yes,
we'll have you guys
definitely.
here, man.
Yeah, that's going to be
Love you
exciting to
guys.
get them in here, too. We got a whole slew of amazing digital
Thank you, I am.
soldiers. There's the graphic, though. Monday through Friday, 2 to 2:17 p.m. Eastern Time. Come join us, guys. We'll be on the same channels, Hammer Time, Rapid Fire, Q News, Rumble channel, but also be on our X, Facebook, Instagram as well, too. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We love y'all. Oh, yeah. Love, everybody.